Do we have me now? I think I've got it figured out. This is one of the problems I've had with this program before, is it likes to, sometimes it'll pick a generic microphone instead of the one that I have plugged in. I think I have it sorted out. You guys have me now? Perfect. All right, now what I was trying to say is that it is finally time for the NASCAR Pinty Series, the Pinty's 100 at Ashwegan Speedway. Well, Wes, I'm going to throw it to him first off because Wes is actually at the Speedway already. So talk about fantastic fan support there. Wes can probably tell me how much anticipation, how much excitement is going on from the Speedway right now. I talked to Clinton yesterday. He is so excited. This is what we've been waiting for. It's been so many years, and this is the thing. People tend to forget. The NASCAR Pinty Series was going to do it first. Before the whole Bristol dirt thing happened, it was originally the NASCAR Pinty Series going to Ashwegan. That's what was going to start this entire dirt talk for the Cup Series. It was this series at this track, and it is finally going to happen. We are going to put on one heck of a show this Monday and Tuesday. That's the thing to remember. It is not just a Tuesday event. You have the Quick Wick Fast Lap Dash that is going to be on the Monday. So tomorrow, make sure you're tuned in. GeForce TV, that's the difference. It is going to be live on GeForce, not on the TSN, not on Flow Racing. It's on GeForce, okay? So you got to make sure you do that. If you have access to YouTube, you have no problem. You have access to catch these guys on the track and see them for the Fast Lap Dash. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to look through the schedule in just a second to see what we have in terms of our schedule for the 2 days. Listen, if you're a NASCAR Pinty Series fan, that is excellent. But you know what? You don't have to be just a fan of the NASCAR Pinty Series to enjoy all that they have going on at Ashwegan Speedway. Okay. So, just a little bit of excitement, Wes says right now. Doesn't feel it just yet, but when the haulers roll in, that excitement is going to bind up. We're going to get a lot more people excited. Of course, there's not just the NASCAR Pinty Series. There's a lot of dirt that's going to be taking place. I believe it's the Canadian Dirt Track Nationals at Ashwegan Speedway. You've got some big names that are coming in, not just to run the Pinty Series, but also to run dirt. Obviously, this is a huge thing in the dirt community. And I'll be honest, I'm a rookie when it comes to dirt racing. I am not somebody that is well versed in it. You know, it is something I still need to learn. Obviously, I'm not alone. There's a lot of people within this series that are going to need to learn about the dirt. One thing that we have to talk about, though, is there's going to be a lot of guys that maybe people will not underestimate because they have no idea that they have dirt experience. Somebody like a Rafael Lessard is extremely well-versed in dirt. He does it all the time. So there are lots and lots and lots of things that we can look forward to. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the entry list, okay? Now, originally, when this initial thought was coming out that we're going to have this race, we were looking at potentially 30 cars. That is not the case. We've got around 23, 24 strong cars. We don't need much more than that, really. What we don't want to have is a Knoxville situation with the trucks where literally they all go into one turn and they all pile up and it's a big embarrassment. We don't want that. What we want to have is what maybe the Cup Series and the trucks and stuff that haven't really had that much success with the dirt races. Let's be honest, they've been fun, but has it truly been a dirt race with multi-groove racing? I'm really hoping that that's what we're going to see here. And I think when you have somebody like Glenn Steyer's in charge of this, he knows how to put on a good dirt race. He's been doing it for so many years. So I think having 23 cars is solid. It's what we've seen all season long. I think anything more than that, and it would have been a disappointment, I think, as well, if we did have 30 and have to send cars home. I think that's something we could build towards, but not in this initial first race doing this. We want to be able to build momentum so that next year, we've already got Xfinity guys that are interested in coming in and doing this race. They've already said that they want to come in and do it. Dirt racers, I'd like to see the Dylan Wisbrooks, the DJ Christie's be able to get an opportunity to run in this series as well. We've seen Dylan Westbrook do it in the truck series, so I think there's a lot of homegrown talent that we could, expect to see in the future as well. Let's take a look at that entry list, okay? Now, this is the not the official one from NASCAR.ca. I couldn't really get that to fit on screen here. So this is what we've got. Glenn Stires, obviously a lot of people expect that he's going to be really good because this is his track. He is a dirt racer. JP Bergeron, Ken Schrader, that is right. Ken Schrader from NASCAR Cup Series. Also, he is a dirt legend. He loves Canada. Ken Schrader he's participated in an Ontario Sportsman Series race before. So he comes and he's raced quite a lot. He's coming back and doing so much. Trevor Monahan, this was a big surprise, actually. I wasn't expecting to see Trevor Monahan, but how about that number 4, Rob McConnell, longtime team owner, coming back for this race, and I'm hoping that they'll stick around and do a couple more in the future. Rafael Lessard, I think we can talk about him as being potentially one of the favorites. Maybe somebody that won't be in the conversation as much would be Brandon Watson. I don't know if he has that experience on the dirt, so he might be somebody to watch. DJ Kennington, while you might not think he's got a lot of dirt experience, he did just run at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, dominated and won in the Ontario Sportsman Series about a month ago, so he has definite dirt experience and he could do very well. Alex Tagliani, Trayton Lapsevich, those are other names that maybe don't have that dirt experience. I don't think we have any question in the 22 driver and his dirt knowledge. Stuart Friesen will be one of the names to watch in the Mr. Transmission number 22. This is, again, somebody else we were expecting to see a couple of years ago. Now this is going to be a reality, and hopefully Stuart Friesen will run more than just the dirt race in the future. He'll have maybe some opportunities to do even more there. Of course, Andrew Ranger, he is somebody who I expect is going to be really good. He has that experience. And of course, how about Brewster Baker himself, Dave Bailey, the 36, not running the 49, a little disappointed that that's not going to happen. But Dave Bailey is the guy that I think everybody is looking towards. He is the name that we're going to look towards to see who they can match up to, because Dave Bailey, to me, is the guy. Now, hopefully, he'll be able to do as well as he does currently in the Thunderstocks. We know he's really, really good. He knows what he's doing on this racetrack, but that'll be interesting to see how he makes that transition. The LP Dumoulin, Gary Clute, and of course, Christopher Bell, Cup Series competitor and finishing second today at Richmond. Christopher Bell will run the 64 for Mark Daly and RGC Sports. This is a huge deal because it's a Cup Series regular driver that's come in. Obviously, if he comes in, loves this show, definitely he's going to be able to bring a lot of eyes to it. I would hope that even Joe Gibbs Racing will do something for it. Christopher on his social media will do something for it. That would really help the NASCAR Pinty Series for sure. Wallace Stacy, this is his type of track. Well, Wallace he's been a little bit slower on the other tracks. He's a rookie in the NASCAR Pinty Series. He is no rookie on dirt. He'll be somebody to watch. Brian Cathcart, I'm sure he's looking forward to getting dirty. Kevin Lacroix was out here testing. Larry Jackson was out here testing. And again, like I said, Dexter Stacy, he comes from dirt. He loves dirt racing. This should be somebody to watch. Absolutely, 100% watch that 92 car. He has a good shot. Marc-Antoine Cameron, he's one of the dirt modifieds as well. Got some dirt practice this year. Earlier, I believe it may have been Drummond, maybe Granby that he was racing out of, and competing against some other NASCAR Pinty Series drivers on dirt. Sam Fellows was out there testing as well. And again, a local favorite from Ohsweken Speedway, Aaron Turkey in the 99 for Howie Skinnell / Larry Jackson. He's got a beautiful looking 99 that we're actually going to take a look at in a couple of minutes. But that is your entry list. I hope I am not missing anybody. It's quite possible I am. But as far as I know, that is what we're going to see. Now, could there be some last minute deals for people to come in? Absolutely there could. But as of right now, this is what we're going to see. We had potentially some other names that were rumored to come. Obviously, that did not happen. One of the things we have to remember, too, is vaccination status is still important to be able to make it into Canada. So whether or not certain drivers are willing to do that, I definitely think it has an impact. Whether it's a great impact, probably not. I think that you would have made the decision to come here and race either way. But the purse is big. This is a big event for whoever is able to take home the race victory. If it's somebody that's a smaller team, like the 36, Dave Bailey is making his first start for Dave Jacobs Racing. that would be huge for him, and I would love to see Dave Bailey get an opportunity to run at Delaware as well. That's one thing I think that this could do, is it could open up those guys for possible potential other starts. Names like Dave Bailey, Trevor Monahan, Ken Schrader, Aaron Turkey, I think it would be really cool to see them have the opportunities that the other Pinty Series drivers do have. So, yeah, Jordan, I agree. It's a tough deal that it's during a work week, and it's for not really for people that are close by. They can't really get there. I'm of that. That's the reason I'm basically not there. It is, sure, I might be off on vacation, but it's still quite a ways for me to get there. The race is happening a lot later in the evening, so for me, it's not that simple to get there. However, when you're trying to attract a Christopher Bell, you kind of have to do this if you want to be able to get them to race, because their weekends are busy. They're not able to get in and race when they have a Cup Series event the same weekend. So, I understand the disappointment there. Maybe there's something that they can do in the future to work around that and find a weekend where it's best suited. But for the first event, I think they had to do what they had to do. We see it in Edmonton and for a couple years, actually, not Edmonton, but Saskatoon, that they have to have it on a weekday because that's the best for the schedule. So obviously, I get that that's a disappointment, but it's what they have to do. Nice to see you, Gord. Thank you for coming on in. And Murray as well. Definitely excited to see what Dave Bailey has. I think he's going to be the talk of the town for sure. Ken Schrader, obviously, in an EHR car. We're going to take a look at those cars in just a second. I definitely think the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go straight from the entry, and we're going to take a look at the point standings following our race at GP3R. Now, I cannot tell you if this is including an appeal. I have not heard anything about that appeal for the 96 team, so I'm not sure exactly if those points are calculated in this. It wasn't entirely clear, but DJ Kennington is your new points leader, 3 points ahead of Marc-Antoine Cameron, who is still in the championship hunt. Now, when we have only 3 races after this, I think that this actually benefits Marc-Antoine Cameron more than DJ Kennington with races at iCar and Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Yes, Marc-Antoine Cameron has been strong on both races, but if we look into the past, he's won at CTMP. He was very competitive at iCar a couple of years ago. So Marc-Antoine Cameron still in the catbird seat. Kevin Lacroix sits third in the points, 16 points back. He is another one that I think we have to keep our eyes on because iCar and CTMP are places that he can win. He has won at both of those tracks, including earlier in May this year at CTMP. LP Dumoulin, 19 points. Then we're starting to get guys who I think might be just a little too far out. And the only reason I say that is because the field has been so competitive this season. 21 points for Alex Taglioni in 5th place. Andrew Ranger, 22 points out. Brandon Watson, Trayton Lapsovich, birthday boy Gary Clue, want to shout out to him. It's his birthday today. And JP Bergeron, the rookie, sitting in 10th place. I think it's a solid bet that the guys that are 30 back, more than likely, are not going to win the championship this year. There's too many strong guys to have to pass. Mark Dilley, Dexter Stacy, Wallace Stacy, and Glenn Stiers are your full-time competitors. 14. We were originally at 19 at the start of the season. Names like Brett Taylor, Brian Cathcart, TJ Renamato, Larry Jackson have all had to take some time away from the races this season. So they haven't been able to secure that full-time status. However, that is the championship battle. DJ Kennington, of course, this is the most competitive that we've seen DJ in several seasons. He can be strong at iCar and Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and we all know how good he is at Delaware Speedway. But I guess this is where the real test is for Kevin Lacroix, Marc-Antoine Cameron, and LP Dumoulin. Now, if LP Dumoulin comes out of nowhere and wins this championship, that would be one of the biggest surprises. Andrew Ranger, from being completely out of it after the first couple of races, into 6th place. He's only 22 points back. He's one of those guys that could rattle off 3 or 4 straight wins. He won at Delaware last year. He's won at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. He's won an iCar. And, of course, he's got dirt experience, so he could win at Ohsweken. There is a potential that Andrew Ranger could go for 4 for 4. Now, likelihood, probably not. The field is so competitive that would be really hard to see that happen. But DJ Kennington being so strong this season is showing that it doesn't matter how long you've been in this series. Year to year, you could very well find yourself in a top spot. Now, obviously, when we head to Ohsweken, this can also be a real tricky race for people if they do get into trouble. The hope is that you don't, because if you get out and are in trouble at this racetrack, I don't know if you're going to be able to fight back for the next 3 races. Now, I've heard a lot of things about the types of cars that people were bringing. I've heard old cars were coming out. They're not using their top stuff, obviously, because they're afraid that these cars will get wrecked on the dirt. One thing that we do need to point out, when the OSS series, and that's the Ontario Sportsman Series, has cars very similar to these. They're basically old cast car race cars, old Pinty series cars. The 47 of DJ Kennington, as you see Chester there in the background hanging out, we had some names that we could look at as having dirt experience. Now, one thing that's specific about DJ is that he actually drove one of his old Pinty's cars in that Ontario Sportsman Series race. Now, whether or not the surface is the same, I don't believe it is. So they're going to have maybe a little bit of difference, but DJ has that little bit of experience already. There was an open test already. Let's take a look at what those cars look like on the racetrack. I didn't upload the video. I'm just going to upload what we saw on the track. There's a rotating section of pictures coming through thanks to Dale Calden, who took some amazing photos at Ohsweken Speedway. You see Sam Fellows there in the 98 testing out his car. We're going to take, we had actually seen Kenny Strader. There's Kevin Lacroix and a little odd-looking paint scheme because that's his old paint scheme. I believe he'll have that changed with the Napa colors for this weekend. You've got Ken Schrader driving the 3 for EHR. You can see a Brett Taylor on the back there. And there's the man, Dave Bailey. And the reason why I wanted to show these photos is look at the difference. I don't think we saw cars in the NASCAR Cup Series go sideways really at all on the dirt. They tried, but I feel like this is what we're seeing here is a little bit different. And hopefully it will mean that there's going to be a really competitive event when we get going on Monday and Tuesday. So Dave Bailey obviously has a lot of experience at this racetrack. Ken Schrader has a lot of experience. He's already raced at Ohsweken this year. So we've got guys, and how about this 99 for Aaron Turkey? It's a paint scheme reveal Nitro 54 variety on. It's beautiful, beautiful car, number 99. So we'll be interested to see that. There's that shot for Ken Schrader. Look at the turn in that car. Absolutely beautiful to see. It looks like it's an old Impala front to it instead of the Camaro, which makes it even more interesting. Obviously, guys are going to try and, there are some guys who are going to try and take it a little easy just to get through this event, but then there's others I know that they're going to go all out week of this race. There's going to be a lot of pent-up excitement, of course, a couple of years that we've been waiting for this event to take place. So, I mean, obviously we look at the cars. I like what I see, and I hope that we get to see even more of this. It'll be interesting to have 23 of these cars on the racetrack. Hopefully it's not one of those events where you just have a car spin and spin and spin and spin. I don't think we're going to see that. I think they're going to get a lot of practice time in. When they did do the open practice, Dave Bailey was the quickest, so I do expect that we're going to see him do the same. Now, we do have the race schedules here. Now, I felt that this was very important because people are going to want to know this. All right, so your broadcast schedule. This is extremely important if you want to catch the NASCAR Pinty Series race. That is on your regular tsn.ca if you have a TSN subscription, or Flow Racing if you have a Flow Racing subscription. It is not available on GeForce TV. That is specific to the race, okay? When it comes to all the other dirt action that is taking place, it is all available on GeForce TV, as well as the Hot Lap Challenge on Monday, okay? So there's lots and lots and lots of stuff that's going to be taking place. We've got practice at 7 o'clock for the NASCAR Pinty Series. That is not going to be broadcast. As you can see on the right-hand side, it says at 7:30. That is when their streaming is going to start. That's when you've got the Burger Barn 17th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals plus the Action Sprint Tour. That is what's taking place. 7:30, as you take a look there, heats for the Knights of Thunder, 10 laps in the Action Sprint Tour, and then the B mains for the Knights of Thunder and the Action Sprint Tour. If necessary, the Knights of Thunder pole dash, then the NASCAR Pinty Series Hot Lap Challenge, which should be about 30 minutes. After that, you will get a full amount of racing action, the A mains for the Action Sprint Tour, and the 17th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals for the Knights of Thunder. 35 laps on GeForce TV. Now, of course, if you're going down there and you are going to be at the racetrack, you still have stuff that's going to happen prior to it. You've got the practices, hot laps, and then, of course, there's going to be meetings. You're going to have the haulers coming in. So definitely, if you are already camping there, definitely make sure you get some pictures, and we'd love to see that. Now, this is on Monday's schedule, okay? So you see on Tuesday, it says on the right-hand side here, you have 7:30, you have your Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars and the Action Sprint Tour live on GeForce. Then you need to make the switch over at 9:30, okay? When we go to our race schedule, you'll see why it's important to get over there at 9:30. Make sure you got your login all ready to go. The NASCAR Pinty Series, Pinty's 100 live on Flow Racing. If we take a look here, we see my pretty face once again. All right, so this is the Tuesday, August 16th. Very important before we get started. If there is rain, the rain date is the 17th. So you need to make sure that you get that extra day planned to make sure you catch the NASCAR Pinty Series in its entirety, okay? You don't want to miss out. Now, same stuff as we have. We got heats, we've got practices. Opening ceremonies start at 7 o'clock, 7:30. Remember, 7:30 is when you're going to see the live stream on GeForce TV for the NASCAR Pinty Series qualifying heats, 10 laps. Not exactly sure why we're doing both, but it's going to be fun. Either way, you're going to get heats. We don't typically get to do that. You have your qualifying, whoever's going to have the fastest lap. Then to set the field, you will have your 10-lap qualifying heats at 7:30 on, of course, GeForce TV. I believe it's what it didn't show that in the first little bit there. So qualifying heats. This is one of the rare opportunities that you're actually able to see qualifying for the NASCAR Pinty Series. So make sure you take full advantage of it. Go onto YouTube. Go onto the GeForce page. Make sure you do it. Then you've got your A mains for the Action Sprint Tour and the Knights of Thunder once again at 8 o'clock p.m. They're going to park the NASCAR Pinty Series cars on the front straightaway. Now, one thing I don't see here is a autograph session. I don't believe that there is an autograph session listed here. Wes can probably be a little more clear on that. I don't see it. There's autographs typically at the NASCAR Pinty Series events. I just don't know if there's going to be enough time for them to do it this time around. 9:25, the Pinty Series driver introductions. And then at 9:40 p.m., and again, it's a little late for a lot of people, but it's not a full 250 lap race. It is 100 laps split into 3 stages. You've got stage number 1, which is going to be 25 laps, stage 2, 25 laps, and then stage 3, which will be 50 laps. So 9:40, we try and get this race in on Tuesday. Again, you have to make sure you're on either tsn.ca live streaming. You have to log in through your TS account through your cable subscription, or if you are a TSN app subscriber. Same thing with Flow Racing. There is no way that you can access this race for free anywhere else. You have to make sure you do it that way. But, again, keep it tuned to GeForce TV. They'll have all the updates regarding everything leading up to the race. All right? So make sure you keep it tuned in there. It's going to be one heck of an event, and that's for sure. We've got, as far as I know, there's going to be a large contingent of people there. They got micro sprints running tonight at Ohsweken, and it's definitely something that we're going to be really excited for, because this could be I'm trying to protect you guys from seeing cat butt right now. But it's remarkable that we actually, for the first time, get to see this happen, because it was supposed to happen in 2020. All that hype was built up. COVID came, ruined it for 2 years. Now we have the opportunity to finally get it ready to get going. We have 23 of the best NASCAR Pinty Series drivers, some extra competitors coming in for this event. I'm curious, for those that are tuning in and who are watching tonight, who is a dirt racer that you would like to see come in and race in this series? And it doesn't have to be a Cup Series competitor. One thing that I really want to see in the future is more of the Aaron Turkeys coming in. I want to see a Dylan Westbrook, a DJ Christie, those kind of names, because that's going to show a little bit more of the dirt guys. Obviously, Dave Bailey he's been doing everything. He's not just a dirt racer. He's run asphalt racing as well. But week in and week out, there's competitiveness throughout this field, and now all of a sudden you kind of throw a wrench into it, in that we've got a dirt race. Now you have your short tracks, you have your little bull rings, you have your street circuits, you have your permanent road courses, we have dirt racing. What is the next step for the NASCAR Pinty Series aside from doing a ice race or a snow race? I don't know if those are even capable of happening for the NASCAR Pinty Series. I know that we've seen a couple of ice race situations. I know Tony Stewart, Donnie Schatz, Smoke would be one, Reegs, or I feel like Tony, if he was... So one thing that's really important to note is Ford, for example, is something that's not really hasn't been in the series for a long time. Now he's currently they're currently with Fords. There's been a lot of rumors that Stewart-Haas Racing is going to go Dodge, and if that case were to happen, I, in my absolute hearts, believe that he would come up here, run a Dodge, and have Mobil 1 on the car, because they've got a long-standing relationship with Mobil 1, as does the NASCAR Pinty Series. I think Smoke... August Stuart Friesen is running already, so he is going to be part of this event no matter what. So definitely, Brent says Scott Bloomquist or even Jamie Maurice, a longtime competitor, Jim Maurice's son, who runs dirt. That would be a great story to even have those guys come out and run. I think I'd like to see Doug Brown's, if you guys know Doug Brown's from CASCAR, his sons Mitch and Jake run as well. Tom Hill says 10 p.m. start. Looks like they wrong to kill it before it starts. It's a little late. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that that's late for my taste. There's more than likely a reason to do it, and that's because they want to get the dirt racing in, I would expect. Jessica Friesen, that's another one, August. I would like to see her do, because she's gotten the opportunity before to run the Truck Series. Why not see her run in the Cup Series, in the Pinty Series? That would be a really cool thing. I think Jessica Power would be somebody cool to see as well. She's a good dirt racer. I think that there's a lot of options here that we can build on for next year and for years to come. The NASCAR Pinty Series is still growing. We have a long way to go here. I know there's going to be some changes coming to the series in the off season. I've been made aware of some changes. I don't know in terms of schedule. I don't know if that's going to be anything that we're going to see changed. I think the schedule right now is actually really good, really diverse. I would like to see another bull ring or so added to make 15 races perhaps. 14, 15 races would be nice. I don't know if the series is capable of doing that 15 races, but I think having a big race like this with a big purse also is going to be very important for the longevity of the series. 10 p.m., it's a little late for a lot of people on a weekday. That is the reality of the situation. as we said, this could be a situation where they're trying something out for this year to see how good the crowds are. Again, it's when can they fit this so that they're able to get all of them, all the stars that they can. Obviously, Kyle Larson was a big target, and there were discussions. Absolutely, there were discussions. It's something that Clinton talked about on the show, that they were really looking into trying to get Kyle Larson to be a part of this event. The reality is that Kyle Larson is extremely busy as it is, and he had other commitments that he had to attend to. So they went out and got Christopher Bell. Do I think that that's the last star that they'll get here? Absolutely not. They got Ken Schrader. I know Kenny Wallace for a long time was discussed. Now, I think you're going to see potentially like a Rico Abreu, who has done and won at Ohsweken Speedway before. Smoke, as we talked about, I think Smoke is probably the top line in terms of Kyle Larson, Smoke. Those are the top stars that we would really benefit from. But Christopher Bell is going to bring a lot of people in just for his dirt prowess, just because he is a Cup Series star. Names like Kyle Larson are great for exposure, but start off with the Christopher Bell, build as much as you can, bring in other partners as well. If you bring more and more sponsorship in, more and more interest in, we could theoretically have a field that is stacked with drivers from the Cup Series, Xfinity, trucks, Pintys, and the dirt world all together. And we're getting a small sampling of that this year. Now, one of the things that we have to remember is the amount of cars available and the amount of parts available made this a little bit more difficult for people to come to the races. I know there's a couple of guys that were initially coming, but because of the car situation, they didn't want to risk damaging their car that they might use later on this year. Of course, that's the thing you have to remember, is that we had started this season. There was not a lot of cars. There was some guys that weren't even able to get to the first race because of the shortages of parts and the shortages of cars. It's a good problem to have. The thing is I don't know where all these cars are going to be found. And more than likely, they'll have to be created. They'll have to start from scratch and make some more. I know a lot of cars have gone out west to the RS1 series. A lot have gone out west because RS1 is building a major fleet. And I don't think there's a lot of old chassis that went out there. I think it was a lot of brand new made stuff. But I think we could always see more week in and week out. And I think a dirt race like this is an opportunity to come in and have a lot of cars made, especially for the event. Then when the event's over, it can help replenish not just here, but also replenish, say, the Ontario Sportsman Series, which is on its way up as well. I definitely think that this race has the potential to be an absolute shit show. It could be. I don't expect that it's going to get to that point. I think you're going to see some really cool racing. We really won't know who's going to be the top of the line here until they start taking practice times tomorrow, and then that'll be very fun to see. Of course, remember, you've got that hot lap challenge where whoever takes that is going to win. They're going to win I believe it's some money, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to take it home, and this is not a small deal. This is being booked, and I believe this race purse is the biggest race purse that we have seen in years for the NASCAR Pinty Series. Now, would I want to see that go to somebody that doesn't run weekly? No, but it does add prestige, as we've talked about. You're also going to have all those connections of those dirt racers that are here that are going to run it. So it's top 5 getting paid. So it's top 5, Wes said, for the hot lap challenge. Not bad at all. Not bad. So even if you're not first, if you get 5th, you're still getting some money, which is exactly what the series needs. It needs these partners. And Quick, I mean, Dave and Frank have put so much love into the NASCAR Pinty Series, into racing in Ontario and across Canada. They have been so responsible for a lot of amazing things happening this series. Obviously, we've got to talk about Pinty's signing up for another 5 years for this series. They've been so incredible in this series and their commitment. Pinty's sponsoring this race. We have to talk about Glenn Stiers. We have to talk about Clinton Jeffrey being a part of this. G-Force TV. G-Force TV coming in and making this a spectacle. Because I'll tell you, it wouldn't mean as much if it was just the race being broadcast. But you're seeing everything. You're seeing all the other dirt racing. You're seeing the qualifying. You've got a hot lap challenge all being seen. That's a way to sell the product. It's like what we see in GP3R. It's exactly the same. Build, 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 and people will come. GP3R, that was amazing. That was absolutely, absolutely, absolutely amazing. Because what I'll say about GP3R is they put a lot of stuff together to make sure that there's more than just the NASCAR Pinty Series for you to come and see. What I'd like to see is other events that happens with in the future. And I will say the Quick Super Stocks and the Ontario Sportsman Series are the two series that I think work best with the NASCAR Pinty Series. First off, the Ontario Sportsman Series are the most similar cars. Super Stocks are a natural progression. A lot of the Super Stock drivers, a lot of Pinty Series drivers compare those two the same, whereas the APC late models, not as similar. So, definite lead up. Now, could we get to a point where, say, you do the APC late models, Quick Super Stocks, and the NASCAR Pinty Series in one night? Likely not. Unless you were to do like a 25-50 and then a 150. There's just not enough time. But we've seen this already with the Pinty's Fall Brawl, that there is a way that you can continue to build the NASCAR Pinty Series scene, not just for us here, but for fans from all over. And streaming free on G-Force TV is the way to do that. Because a lot of people in the US may not have TSN, they may not have Flow Racing. You've got to do whatever you can to expand your international audience as well. Now, obviously, we want to expand as much as possible into Canada, but I'm going to bring up one point from yesterday. Now, yesterday, I was not at a NASCAR Pinty Series event. I was at an APC Series event at Sunset Speedway. And if you don't know Sunset Speedway, that's the first race of the season that we have for the NASCAR Pinty Series. And holy moly, it was packed. And I mean, I have never seen Sunset Speedway packed as much as it was last night. Racing is alive and well in Ontario as long as we can continue to put forth a product that is worthy of people going to see. One thing that I would like to say that APC did really well, APC had a booth with driver merchandise, series merchandise there. I think we need to get back to that. The NASCAR Pinty Series needs some sort of a merch deal. T-shirts, hats, decals, leave it at that. Those three have select amount for drivers that are in the series, like a Glenn Stiers, a Trayton Lapsovich, Andrew Ranger. Paye is already doing it. But we need that to progress. Because one thing that I saw a lot of yesterday were people wearing the APC merch at the racetrack. Where when we were at GP3R, the only guys that really had it were Tagliani and Paye. Who did we see the most gear being worn? Those three names. Cameron, Ranger, and Tagliani. That was the most gear that was being worn. So if you make it, people will buy it. I think we're at a different point now. I mean, I was told previously that they made it and no one bought it, but that was back then. This is a different era. This is a different time. We want to build this series the way that we want to see it live on as, and that is one heck of a racing series that is showing that it doesn't need to be held up as a crutch or a lower division of NASCAR. It isn't. It's a national series. It's the only series in Canada that's under that NASCAR branch, that is supposed to be countrywide. Well, it certainly doesn't feel like it at times. We need to continue to help grow it. And I know there's some great people coming into the series that are going to make it happen. They are. I've been privileged to talk with these people and heard their opinions. And there's a great racer out of Delaware named Chris Lawrence. And he's got a rental program at Delaware Speedway for bone stocks. Bone stocks is the first kind of racing that you can get into. It's passenger cars tricked out to be able to race on the racetrack. And Chris's opinion of motorsports is very similar to mine in that we have to be able to bring the next generation in so that we have the series that we love in the future. You need those young stars. You need new faces coming into racing because those people might know people that'll come in and support it. We need as many companies as we can. It's not like it was in the early 1990s. It's not like it was in the 80s. Companies aren't forking over any money coming in, and the big reality of it is back. A lot of companies have now merged, and they're huge compared to what they were years ago. A lot of individual companies merge with others, and that's where you kind of lose those sponsorship situations. So we have the opportunity this weekend to put on one heck of a dirt race. If you aren't going, make sure you tune in. We will be here next week with the NASCAR Pinty Series Power Hour to talk all about it. We'll look forward to Circuit ICAR, look forward to the final 3 races of the 2022 championship. And of course, hopefully there'll be more announcements that we have for the future. We don't know if we're going to be seeing some new names coming into this series for 2023 in terms of the driver roster, sponsors, cars. I mean, who knows what we could have potentially as part of the series. But make sure you get out there. If you haven't already, join the NASCAR Pinty Series community Facebook page. I actually have to change this graphic now because it's not 5,000 members strong. It's 5,400 members strong. We've gained 400 fans since GP3R. That is spectacular. We are on our way. I set a goal. Wes and I, we talked about this. I said I wanted 5,000 by the end of the season. We have surpassed that. We could potentially get to 6,000 members by the end of this season. And where we were in 2020 was 2.6. We are now over that, and we're heading to 6,000 members strong. It's a way we can build this community more and more and more. We'll build it on the NASCAR Pinty Series Facebook group. Continue to build using the NASCAR Pinty Series Power Hour. Make sure you see it through every broadcast. We'll do pre-race, post-race. Of course, this weekend it won't be the case. Any post-race talk, any post-race live reactions is going to be on the NASCAR Facebook page. It's not going to be on G-Force TV because they're going to be busy with their streaming, okay? So I want to make sure that you guys all come back for future episodes. We are on episode 13 of this show. We're going to go to the end of the season. My hope is that we'll do a couple of off-season episodes, talk about potentially some silly season news. I think we want to keep the hype as much as possible as we head into this off-season, heading into Motorama, learn about who's coming in, who's exiting, who could we see coming into the NASCAR Pinty Series in the future. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of change I expect in this offseason. A lot of names potentially coming in or exiting. The hope is that we'll continue to grow. I've heard some rumblings that we're going to see even more cars next year. Some major teams will be even adding some more cars. So that is what's exciting about it. We need more partners to come in. We're going to have more content, more people coming in and supporting the series through their own content. Of course, Riegser, follow him. He's got amazing content on YouTube. He does race reviews, does some amazing stuff for our series. We're going to have names like Olivia Whistle, the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, Driver in Deep, Jomo Media. These are all where you can find NASCAR Pinty Series content. You can find local racing content in Canada. G-Force TV, of course, will continue to build. Garrett Teemersma has a vlog. You can learn all about his racing. JRD Motorsports, Ryan Dyson, Jaden Chapman. They all have ways that you can learn about their racing in Ontario. Help to continue to support those guys and, of course, the gals around Ontario to see them eventually come in. And, of course, Quebec, constantly bringing in new racers week in and week out. I know that there's some teams from Quebec that are looking to expand into next year. I think we've already seen some amazing things so far this season for the NASCAR Pinty Series. DJ Kennington, of course, coming in with the points lead into Ohsweken with Marc-Antoine Cameron hot on his heels. Don't know what's going to happen yet with that appeal, if it's been dealt with, if it hasn't been dealt with, but I'll tell you one thing. I am so thankful for Sherry, for everybody in the NASCAR Pinty Series, officials, those in charge, NASCAR International, who've come up and seen it. Tony Spiteri, who I've seen at multiple races here, continuing to showcase his love for this series. Dave Lloyd, Frank Wall, continuing Quick Wicks support. Pinty's, our buddy Paul's out there. Of course, my good buddy Graydon Bunn. Wes, always out here helping me with the page. We are making a difference for next season. We are going to continue the strength of this season, continue to build, try and bring in some of those smaller series to potentially partner up and build a ladder system, because I think that's what's going to be very, very successful for next year. We can bring in some new names, bring in some new partners. That's exactly what we are looking for. I just want to thank everybody at G-Force. We're closing in on 15 episodes. This was episode 13 of the NASCAR Pinty Series Power Hour. I want to thank Cole Quinton for coming and saying hello to me yesterday and saying how much he loves the Power Hour. That was great. The Thomases, always great to see them. Jordan Buster, awesome to talk to these guys, and they're always supportive, and that's what we want to see, want to build. Definitely get out there, go to see Ohsweken Speedway if you have the opportunity to. If not, make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm Cam K. I am your wingman, your Pinty's wingman, and I will catch you all next week. I want to thank every single one of you that tuned in today. There was a good crowd of you. Make sure, leave a prediction in the chat of who you think is going to take the race victory. A lot of people were saying Dave Bailey on the page. A lot of people saying Kenny Schrader. Some people were saying Andrew Ranger. Be very, very interested to see where we end up. But just a major thank you to everybody on here. Thank you, Wes, who's always moderating from Ohsweken Speedway tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you all next week to talk all about the race at Ohsweken Speedway for the Pinty's